Hi, and welcome to or back to my channel. I'm Kit, and today we're going to have a look at Classically Abby's Reels. And before we get into it, I would like to thank you all for clicking on this video, and I would like to give extra thanks to my patrons and channel members. Classically Abby, sister of Ben Shapiro, wife of a patriot, mother of one, has been rather quiet lately. She changed her channel, where she espouses classic values like marriage and motherhood, into a podcast where she was posting weekly, and then she stopped. I thought perhaps she had finally given up because those numbers are not good for someone with over 100,000 subscribers, or perhaps life had gotten busy because, well, young child. But as it turns out, she was traveling to speaking engagements. Late April, she went to Missouri. A week later, New York. She lives in Florida. She really is trying to be Phyllis Schlafly. But hey, if she doesn't travel around the country telling women how important it is to stay home, who will? It's so nice of her to make that sacrifice. I'm sure she hates every second of it, especially since she said she reconsidered an opera career because it would mean being away from her family. Anyway, we're looking at her reels because Abby really went through a time where she seemed to be obsessed with them, and also, I need a break. The last few videos were blood pressure rising, and the next 3 videos are going to be very long, so we're going to enjoy some classic cringe. And on that note, I know most people listen rather than watch, and though I will do my best to describe the reels, well, she has a very expressive face. Anyway, onward.
And now I want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening. When all of a sudden, I hear this agitating, grating voice.
So in this one, Abby is apparently logically and rationally explaining why one should be pro-life, and then there's this agitating, grating noise of someone saying, it's just a clump of cells. No one will be shocked to know this is not her only pro-birth reel, and I would like to put forth a motion that all Shapiros should be forbidden to use the word logic in any way, shape, or form effective immediately. So in this one, Abby is on her way to tell women that there is no such thing as a wage gap. Women just happen to choose different jobs and choose to spend more time with their children. Isn't it just a marvelous coincidence that women just so happen to choose things that lead to them being paid less? How does that not make Abby stop and quit? Oh, right. She thinks it's natural that women want to spend more time with their kids than men do, because of course, fathers would rather be at the office than with their family. Office work is very natural. You could call it an instinct. Every day, I feel a deep primal urge to sit at a desk and start typing. Anyway, I'll leave a link below for anyone interested in reading more about the wage gap.
Okay, I'm coming on here, no makeup, my hair's not done, but here's what I want to say. I hate the whole idea of the default parent. It's really just women being upset that they are moms and that moms have more responsibility. Not because it's a terrible thing, not because men are bad, but because as women, as mothers, we have a different role and our children depend on us in a different way. I'm not the default parent. I'm my son's mom, and I am 100% okay with that. And if that means that I know where his diapers are and my husband doesn't always know, that's just because I get to be the one at home with our son. As long as mom and dad are both putting in the effort to raise your children, you're both working hard and trying to provide in the ways that you can, it's all good in my book.
Abby really could have saved herself the trouble. Absolutely no one is surprised that she thinks women should be the default parent. And in my opinion, that's terrible. Fathers are important and not just to bring in money. They should be encouraged to spend time with their kids and not brushed off with assurances that mothers know best. Also, in my opinion, this is yet another example of Abby's low opinion of men.
Oops, got your coping skills. Now let's see what we got. That's not a coping skill.
Here, Abby is capturing the coping skills of women who bought into the feminist lie that they don't need marriage or children, and the coping skills are meaningless sex, working long hours, and calling their dogs their babies. I'm pretty sure most people who work long hours don't have dogs, since dogs need to be taken on walks regularly. Though I guess if they work long enough, they can afford a dog walker, but also if they're working long hours and have a dog to take care of, where do they have time for meaningless sex? Of course, to Abby, even a boyfriend of 5 years is a stranger, so I suppose any sex outside of marriage is meaningless in her mind. And as usual, her definition of feminism is anything that doesn't endorse what she agrees with. So here Abby is wrapped in a blanket and doing some sort of waddle walk on her way to tell the internet that babies are awesome, marriage is great, and traditional values are better than postmodern nonsense. And again, this is not her only reel on this subject. She really likes to recycle, but the blanket and the walk just... why? I think this was a trendy thing, but why? It just looks really weird and smug, but that's mainly because everything Abby does comes off as smug.
Shut up, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it
If you are wondering what cured Abby's existential anxiety, it was marriage. Next.
Do you want to form an alliance with me? Absolutely, I do. Good.
This is apparently what happens when Abby sees another woman who wants to fight the feminist narrative, except her feminist narrative is a straw man, and it's incredibly easy to fight a straw man. There's nothing there.
Bring the action.
So when Abby hears that a woman is tired of sleeping around, climbing the corporate ladder, and wants something more out of life, she brings the action. I'm not really sure how, but okay. This next reel was set to CNC Music Factory Gonna Make You Sweat, which had to be removed because of copyright, so enjoy a few minutes of silence while Abby dances and tells us the 4 mistakes we're making in dating. Right. So the mistakes are dating for chemistry and ignoring compatibility, having sex before marriage, not asking the big questions early, and texting too much. So I agree that compatibility is important, and I think that's something you learn as you get older. Obviously, I see no problem having sex without being married, and I would like to know what those big questions are. The only ones I can think of are marriage and kids, and I do think it's important to know before proceeding too far. Things like finances, long-term plans. I would be a bit weirded out if someone asked me about those early. But of course, most of us aren't dating with the goal to be married within a year of meeting. And as for texting too much, how much is too much?
If you are this, and this, I want to work with you.
So if you're sick of the feminist narrative, looking for true meaning and purpose, and want to live a classic life, hit Abby up. It's so interesting to me how Abby assumes the same things will give everyone meaning and purpose. Because we all know, whoever is discussing meaning and purpose with her, she would advise them to get married and have kids no matter how they felt about it. And I think I've said this before, but this inability to imagine others as individuals with their own sense of self must be why she can't conceive of feminism being about women finding their own paths rather than telling women how to live their lives. Conservatism does lay out a pretty straight path, and feminism, being incompatible with conservatism, must also lay out a straight path, but the opposite of the conservative path. And we all know this to be true because feminists never marry, have kids, or stay home. In this reel, Abby puzzles over how gender feminists can claim men are oppressors, but also give men everything they want by telling women to sleep with them. All men want is sex? Abby's low opinion of men strikes again. Anyway, what are gender feminists? Is she talking about gender criticals? Because they do seem to hate men, and I doubt they're telling women to sleep with them. And for the upteenth time, if a woman says she thinks sleeping around is empowering, she recommends women do it, even if said woman is a feminist, that does not make it a feminist belief. I am a woman. I am a feminist. I have slept around. I do not regret it. That does not mean feminism believes women should have multiple sexual partners, or that a majority of feminists believe women should have multiple sexual partners.
Yes, I like your plan, except it sucks, so let me do the plan, and that way it might be really...
So that was Abby talking women out of planning when they're going to have kids because fertility isn't a guarantee. And I have no words. This is just creepy, Abby. The reproductive plans of others are none of your business. Okay, well, I hope we all learned something, and yep, that's it for me. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.